Where do you see kind of what's the state of the program right now through non-conference play as you head into conference? Where do you feel like you sit?
I think we're doing okay. I don't think the results necessarily reflect quite where we are in terms of some of the performances. I think Wyoming, we kind of let one slip on Thursday. As they played the same against Northern Colorado, where felt maybe we could have done a little bit better with the scoreline, but definitely a solid non-conference slate. Good win yesterday to kind of close out and get ready for a really good Omaha team on Thursday.
Your goalie's been reaching some milestones. What have you thought of her career?
I mean, she's fantastic. She really is. Kept us in the game against Northern Colorado with a really nice penalty kick save. But fortunately this year she hasn't had to do quite as much, so that's been nice compared to last year. So she's an unbelievable goalkeeper, and she's there when we need her. But fortunately, I think the back line's kind of stepped up a little bit this year at times. And the other thing that's nice is we're scoring more goals too. So on the flip side, we've got some people now that are scoring some goals for us this year, and that's been nice. And a couple of offensive players of the week has been awesome as well. And I just want to, with Evelyn being in the room, congratulate her on being the Summit League Offensive Player of the Week. And that's two we've had in the last 3 weeks. And I think that that's been kind of nice as well, that while the goaltending's kind of taking care of itself, now on the offensive standpoint, we've also got a lot of threats going forward.
The strides you've made offensively, did you do that through recruiting or player development within the program? People taking steps?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously we've got somebody in the room right now who we brought in the off season and transferred in from Louisville, Evelyn, and she's done a really nice job in the offense with us. And then we've just been working a lot on the attacking side of the ball in the spring. I think having Amy up there this year has really helped our offensive output. I think that people still don't even realize quite how good Amy is up there. I think Amy hasn't even figured out quite how good she is up there sometimes. And Alison Rapadusky's banging in some goals right now as well. So I think that we've just got more pieces up there that are a wider threat than maybe we have had in the past couple of years. And I think that variety in attack has helped us with scoring goals, because teams aren't able to kind of key in on just one player. There's 3 or 4 players now.
How would you what would you say about the Summit League race? Is it 1 or 2 teams at the top? Does it feel wide open? What's it look like?
I think you always look at South Dakota State and Denver. They're always usually right the way up there, and Denver had a phenomenal non-conference segment. But generally speaking, it's kind of anyone's race a lot of the time. I mean, we look at last year and the fact that Omaha were the conference champions, postseason conference champions. They beat us with 5 minutes left in playoffs. But the week beforehand, I think Kansas City had finished 10th out of 10, and they tied Omaha. So that's how tight it is from top to bottom in the Summit League. And every game you've just got to be on, because if you're not on, you get beat. So we've got to be really, really ready for Thursday.
You mentioned non-conference season has shown that you've been able to take strides offensively, and yet probably it's shown that there's probably still some poise needed to take a few more chances along the way, because you're getting into some good spaces to take chances, and yet there's still some room there. Is that something that's developed through confidence, through training? Do you train too much and you start squeezing a little too tight? Is it a fine balance there to see if you can convert a few more chances?
Yeah, I think sometimes it can be a little bit of confidence and belief. I think that we went through this multiple years ago with a girl named Katie Marlowe, and she ended up being not too bad for us offensively once it kind of clicked and she got confident. I think sometimes it's just having that confidence of, I can take this weight on my shoulders now. And I think that sometimes experience helps too. Some of the near misses we've been having in games have kind of fallen to our freshmen who, maybe they just need that one, maybe to just hit them on the back and go in. And it's one of those where you don't necessarily mean, but you get confidence from that. And I think that that's kind of, what leads to sustaining that kind of composure in front of goal, and I think that sometimes it does, just getting those into those situations and being confident. I think that that's a big part of what happened with Evelyn's weekend, was she's just grown into naturally reading some of these situations. She had a superb finish yesterday. It was a really hard ball coming across her, and it takes a really good player to finish that type of chance, but she took it with aplomb.
Oh, we're going this way. There we go.
Pouring all over the place. Hey, Coach, have a 5-match unbeaten stretch going into the Grand Canyon game. Then you drop that in Wyoming, but then rebound with that big 3-0 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. What does it mean to finish out the non-conference slate with a win like that, and especially a win so emphatic after getting that streak snapped.
And I think hopefully that's a sign of things to come, because, we have been creating a lot of chances. And even yesterday, there was the 3 goals, but 2 disallowed as well. And we had a couple of goal mouth scrambles. And I think that that's nice, as the amount of chances that we've been creating in most of the games. And I would say outside of, maybe the Grand Canyon game, every game that we've had, we've had a lot of chances, going back all the way to even against a really, really good Montana team. We had opportunities to tie that game up. So the nice thing about this team is, even when we're not playing at our best, we're always dangerous and we're always going to create chances. I think Wyoming, maybe we weren't at our best this past Thursday against a team that had, won the regular season in the Mountain West last year, but we were still dangerous and in the game, because we do have dangerous attacking players. And in the Summit League, you might have a day where, the ball's not bouncing your way and maybe you're not quite on that day. But when you have dangerous players like we do, you just need that one chance. And I think that that's where we're really trying to get to with this group is, can we be a little bit more clinical when we have 8 to 10 chances a game? But that'll help us in a game where maybe at a South Dakota State, you might get 2 looks on goal. And if you score one of them, you get out of there with a win. So it was definitely nice to score a flurry of goals to end the non-conference segment. And also what's nice is it's different people scoring as well. And I think that was pretty awesome. And it was great to see Ariana Chistikov get on yesterday and scored a really great goal. It was awesome. She came on, she did really well for 10 minutes, and she put a bow on it with a nice finish at the end.
So I want to say, I think it's about 6 matches in a row that's been this home stretch for a while, and then there's only a pretty small handful of home games left in the season, a lot of road wins in there. And we've seen success, though, with games like the Illinois State game, 3-0 on the road. So what's the best way to sort of translate winning well and playing good soccer on the road with a lot more of these road contests?
We're 2-0 on the road, so maybe we need to go on the road more often. Illinois State was probably our best game this season, especially the second half. And we played great in the goals we scored. And Evelyn had a wonderful assist for Amy Lafleur, and just the dominance of the performance against a team that hasn't lost since they played us. And I think that we've had some obstacles with our home form, if anything, this year. And I think most of that's just down to the quality of the opponent that we've been bringing in. A team like Grand Canyon, they're awesome. They really are. And obviously Wyoming won a championship last year. But I think right now we're looking to say, well, on the road, we're 2-0, and we need to take that mentality into our next trip next week against 2 really tough South Dakota teams. But again, with the difference in outlook on the way that we play compared to the last couple of years, maybe. We're going to go to these places and go for the win rather than trying to keep it tight and hopefully nick a goal. And it's on my wish list to score in Brookings. I've been going to Brookings for 11 years now, and I've never scored against the Jacks there. So, it's about time that we kind of break that curse. And hopefully this year, with the firepower we have, we get that done.